evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. I'm Nandlall. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Attorney General Nandlall says banks, which have closed accounts of WIN candidates, are acting to protect Guyana's financial system. 3,000 to benefit as Region 1 gears up for cocoa and coffee production. $53 million training center opens in Riverton, offering free skills programs and boosting job prospects. And Port Mourant Eye Hospital restores sight to nearly 4,000 cataract patients. Attorney General Nandlall has highlighted the serious risks that come with association to the Mohammed family, who have been sanctioned by the U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, for money laundering. Speaking on his talk show Issues in the News on Tuesday, Nandlall addressed the recent closure of bank accounts belonging to candidates of the We Invest in Nationhood, or WIN party. Demerara Bank and the Guyana Bank of Trade and Industry have both shut these accounts. He explained that banks act when they identify threats to the financial system and must follow strict rules to protect it.
Once one commercial bank move in this direction, it means that they have determined a threat in the financial system. And the financial system is interconnected. And once there is a threat somewhere in the system, it will contaminate the entire system, and other banks will have to follow suit.
Nandlall said this is how the country's anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism framework works. Financial institutions are required to respond properly when dealing with people linked to financial crimes. The OFAC sanctions clearly outline the consequences for anyone dealing with sanctioned individuals or their businesses. Both Azudin Mohammed and his father, Nazar Shell Mohammed, were sanctioned for gold smuggling, tax evasion, and corruption. Recently, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Thoreau, told local media the U.S. is concerned about the impact on business and diplomatic ties if Mohammed is elected to parliament. Nandlall warned that if Mohammed enters parliament, he becomes part of the government structure and this will carry repercussions.
That is a statement of fact. The Guyanese electorate will have to deal with that. And the Guyanese people will have to deal with that. And that is why we are saying this is not a normal competitor. This is a person, if he's elected, will expose the country to harm. He has already been exposing the people associated with him to harm. Visas have already been revoked. Persons are being questioned at the airports.
The Attorney General reminded viewers that Guyana has faced fallout before when it was blacklisted. Now, the local financial sector fully understands how sanctions work and is taking all necessary steps to protect the system. A rise in road fatalities has reignited national urgency as officials, law enforcement, international partners, and civil society gathered for the National Road Safety Stakeholders Forum. The forum was held yesterday at the Police Officers' Mess Annex in Ivleary under the theme Do the Right Thing by the Ministry of Home Affairs in collaboration with the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana National Road Safety Council. Updated statistics reveal a 6% increase in road deaths so far this year, with 70 lives lost in total. There's also been a 20% spike in fatal accidents, now totaling 66, while serious, minor, and damage-related accident rates declined. Speaking at the event, Home Affairs Minister Robson Ben stressed the need for society to be more proactive on the issue of road safety in light of Guyana's rapidly advancing infrastructure.
The biggest challenge is of course, human. Drunk driving, speeding, impaired driving perhaps by drugs, Mr. James Singh, texting or worse while driving, all of those things. Tinting up the vehicle to the point where you can't make eye contact with the other persons on the road. Usually the issue is, normally is, eye contact will be made at an intersection, but there's no way of making an intersection, and your vision is impaired because people are even tinting up the front of the vehicles for no reason or permission. And I have a thought sometimes when vehicles come to an intersection now is that they are not coming with the intention to stop.
According to the statistics, 166 serious accidents were recorded, with signals a 7% decrease, 235 minor accidents, a 4% decrease, 428 damage accidents, a 3% decrease, and 2 child deaths, with signals of 50% decrease. The event also saw the launch of the Secure Eye mobile app, a real-time GPS-enabled platform that empowers citizens to report crime, reckless driving, and other safety threats anonymously and directly to law enforcement, as explained by analysts at the Home Affairs Ministry, Priya Sipal.
Every year, too many lives are lost on the road. Many of these lives can be saved not by luck, but by a faster reporting and faster response system. This is the goals of Secure Eye once it's launched. And today, our major challenge we face is timely and accurate reporting. Sometimes people don't know who to call. They know or can't share the exact location of where an incident is happening. Occur. Every time of a delay means a greater risk. So that's where Secure Eye comes in. The Ministry of Home Affairs, Honorable Minister Rosenbaum came up with this initiative 2 years ago, and we've been working on various versions to put out something that can be impactful and accurate to the public. With just a few taps, Secure can send the exact location and details of a report of an incident.
Representatives of the Road Safety Implementation Board, including Greg Quinn and Michelle King, outlined 7 national project plans currently in development under the headlines Deter and Detect, Data-Driven Road Safety, National Conversation, Road Infrastructure Enhancements, Clinical Response and Trauma Support, Education Campaigns, and Youth and Community Involvement. Lorena Solorzano Salazar of the Inter-American Development Bank and Katie Thompson of the United Nations Development Program emphasized that road safety is not just a transport issue, but a public health, development, and social equity issue. Speaking on behalf of PAHO WHO, Dr. Natasha Sobers-Granum presented the long-term mental, physical, and economic toll road accidents impose, especially on vulnerable populations. Region 1 is set to become a major cocoa and coffee hub, thanks to a new agreement between Guyana and the Dominican Republic. The deal, signed yesterday by the Ministry of Agriculture, will establish 200 acres each of cocoa and coffee on their plan to boost rural jobs, trade, and food security. At peak production, the project could yield up to 8,000 metric tons of cocoa and benefit an estimated 3,000 people directly and indirectly. It also supports sustainable agriculture from cultivation and processing to marketing and joint research in both crops. The agreement is expected to expand value-added production and facilitate trade across the region. The project is part of President Irfan Ali's broader agricultural strategy. During a 2024 visit to Waramuri village in Barima Waini, he announced plans for a 10,000-acre coffee plantation and pledged more support for cocoa cultivation. The Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, today launched a 5-year strategic health plan aimed at tackling the region's biggest health threats, including infectious and non-communicable diseases. The plan was launched earlier at the Pegasus Hotel in Georgetown under the theme Strong Together, Advancing Caribbean Health Through Collaboration, Innovation, and Sustainable Action. In delivering the keynote address, Deputy Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Armstrong Alexis, commended CARPHA on its results-based driven approach towards strategic implementation.
The CARICOM Secretariat sees this strategic plan as an opportunity to strengthen structured collaboration between the Secretariat, CARPHA, and other regional entities, and a roadmap to guide how member states align their priorities and collaborate on critical regional imperatives. Ladies and gentlemen, this will no doubt require coordinated approaches to resource mobilization, clear implementation roles across the health landscape, and joint reporting on progress on regional development outcomes. We must reduce duplication, increase interoperability, and focus on results that matter to the people of this community. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, strategic plans are only as good as the results obtained from their implementation.
Delivering remarks virtually, Chairman of CARPHA's Executive Board, Minister Philip A. Telesford, said the plan builds on lessons learned from threats such as the COVID-19 pandemic and calls for stronger surveillance systems and smart investments in health infrastructure.
The unveiling of CARPHA 2025-2030 strategic plan is not just a technical milestone. It is a bold declaration of political will, of leadership in action, and of our unwavering commitment to safeguarding the health and well-being of every Caribbean citizen. This plan is a product of tireless collaboration, rigorous consultation, and above all, the steadfast leadership of our member states. It reflects the wisdom of our ministers of health, the foresight of our technical teams, and the courage of our communities. It is a living document shaped by our past, grounded in our present, and designed to meet the future head-on.
In her remarks, Executive Director of CARFA, Dr. Lisa Indar, said the event marks not only the unveiling of a document, but the reaffirmation of a regional commitment to safeguard the health and well-being of every Caribbean citizen.
This strategic plan was developed through a highly consultative and participatory process with input solicited from member states, our regional and international institutions, our international development partners, which all help to ensure that the strategic plan targets the current as well as the emerging public health needs and priorities of the CARFA member states. And it will pave the way for improved collaboration and coordination with our institutions and IDPs. The 6 strategic priority areas from the last strategic plan have been retained, but key emerging threats to public health, as identified by our countries, such as antimicrobial resistance and crime and violence as a public health issue, have been integrated into the new plan.
The event was sponsored by the 11th European Development Fund (EDF) program of support for health security strengthening for prevention and control of outbreaks of communicable diseases in the Caribbean. When we return, the Chief Justice rules on 2 high-profile election cases. LGBTQIA+ voices get a platform in the 2025 debate, and a new $53 million skills center opens in Riverton. Stay with us.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Welcome back. 2 legal challenges against election laws have been dismissed. Chief Justice Acting Roxanne George has shown up 2 elections-related legal challenges, one filed by Chartered Accountant and Attorney Christopher Ram, and the other by United Republican Party leader Vishnu Bandhu. In this case, Ram argued that Article 160 of the Constitution provides for a candidate, not a list of candidates, contesting elections. He claimed that the Representation of the People Act, or ROPA, only allows for lists, making the law, in his view, unconstitutional. But the state, represented by Attorney General Nandlall, pushed back. He said Article 160 clearly outlines a proportional representation system, which does not allow for independent candidates.
Reading Article 160 in its entirety clearly stipulates that only a candidate can only run if that candidate is part of a list system or is connected to or associated with a list of candidates. There is no single candidate that can run by him or herself, and nowhere in ROPA in Article 160 says that.
In Bandhu's case, his lawyer, Roysel Ford, argued that Article 147 gives his client the right to contest elections. But he said ROPA forces Bandhu to meet certain requirements, such as contesting a minimum number of seats.
We were able to show very clearly that while Article 147 guarantees freedom of association and freedom to be part of a political party, freedom to belong to a political party, freedom to belong to a trade union, freedom to strike, and a whole set of other things, it does not permit in any form or fashion the right of a person or doesn't confer the right of a person to participate in elections. And that's what Mr. Ford is saying, that he's enlarging the right to form a political party and a right to belong to a political party to include a right to contest elections in a manner that he wants to contest.
The AG responded that the Constitution's language can't be stretched to suit individual interpretations. In the end, the Chief Justice dismissed both matters. Ram and Bandu have each been ordered to pay $500,000 in court costs, split between the Attorney General's office and the Ghana Elections Commission. SASOD Ghana and the Ghana Press Association hosted a town hall yesterday at the Hermanson Lodge in Georgetown, aimed at bringing LGBTQIA plus issues into sharp political focus ahead of the 2025 general and regional elections. The event followed the launch of the updated Ghana LGBTQIA plus manifesto and invited political parties to publicly outline their positions on 10 priority areas identified by the LGBTQIA plus community. It also gave the media a rare opportunity to directly question party representatives on these issues.
We've met with 5 of the 6 political parties contesting the 2025 elections to date, and all the parties that we've met with have been receptive to the 10 priorities in our manifesto to varying degrees. But I think the takeaway is everybody agrees that there shouldn't be any kind of discrimination against any citizen of this country because of their personal characteristics, including sexual orientation, gender identity.
SASOD's Executive Director Joel Simpson noted that the second ever LGBTQIA plus elections town hall shows clear signs of political evolution. Representatives from multiple political parties turned up to respond to questions from both the LGBTQIA plus community and the press, something SASOD says is both symbolic and strategic.
This is the second time we're doing an elections town hall. We did the first one on February 24th of 2020, just a week before the March 2nd, 2020 elections. The 7 political parties of the 11 that were on the ballot that participated then were the ones that got elected to parliament. And that includes the 3 that shared the join the seat. We now have 6 parties that have made the ballot, and 5 of the 6 have agreed to participate. I think that's a good sign for those parties that are willing to engage, that are willing to have dialogue with all citizens, but more importantly, especially groups that are usually marginalized from political participation, from social engagement, from groups that struggle to gain social and economic justice. And we are pleased with the response that we've received from the political parties. We look forward to seeing the 5 that have not launched manifestos yet. I think some of them are planning to launch manifestos, to seeing how our proposals are integrated into their manifestos.
As for endorsements, SASOD made its position clear that its organization is not allowed to do any sort of endorsements, but rather just engagement as it relates to advocating for the recognition of the LGBTQIA+.
As a human rights organization, our constitution forbids, for want of a better word, us from endorsing any kind of political party. We engage in advocacy with all stakeholders, but we will never engage any party in a partisan race to elective office. We will always stay neutral and take a bipartisan approach and engage all the stakeholders, both in government and opposition.
The forum ended just before midday, with organizers calling it a necessary step in keeping human rights issues central to the national conversation this election season. A brand new $53.3 million Skills Development and Certification Center was officially opened on Tuesday in Riverton, bringing hands-on training right to the doorstep of Upper Quarantine residents. The facility under the Ministry of Labor will host programs through the Board of Industrial Training, giving citizens access to practical and marketable skills. Delivering the feature address, Senior Minister Dr. Ashley Singh reminded the public that these training programs come at no cost.
So there is no justification for a person not being able to access a training program and acquire a new skill, because this training is being provided by President Irfan Ali's government free of cost. But the the opportunities, when we speak of the era of opportunities, we're not only speaking about training and educational opportunities, we're speaking about employment opportunities.
Also speaking at the ceremony, Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton highlighted the government's success in upskilling thousands of Guyanese.
Today I can boastfully, on behalf of the government of Guyana, say to you that in 5 years, we would have trained 15,000 people to the length and breadth. 100% and more. And not just train nearly 15,000. Importantly, 60% of those persons are females. That's it. So we have moved women into what we call non-traditional areas.
The new center is expected to significantly improve access to training in trades and technical areas, giving people, especially women, a better shot at employment and financial independence. Still in Berbice, the Port Mourant Ophthalmology Hospital has resorts sighted thousands of people from across Guyana and even beyond. Since reopening in February 2021, the hospital has performed over 5,800 major eye surgeries, including nearly 4,000 cataract removals. Region 6 Health Officer Dr. Vineshri Kiradar confirmed the numbers and highlighted the hospital's national and international reach.
These are not just Berbicians. These are patients that was flown in from Region 1, Region 7, Region 8. Also patients that came to us from Essecobo Region 2. Patients that would have came from Barbados, from Suriname, we would have operated on all these patients.
Cataracts, clouding of the eye's natural lens, are one of the leading causes of blindness. For many of these patients, the hospital service was their only hope of regaining sight, especially given the high cost of private treatment. One such beneficiary, 59-year-old Kafilas Cornelius from Mabaruma, Region 1, expressed heartfelt relief.
I feeling very nice because if I was at home, still I want to be like this. I was still struggling. So I feel great about it.
For Gloria Chapan, another patient, her days in darkness are over.
I couldn't read, but now I can read. It's a very good initiative the government is taking because most of us cannot afford these type of expenses. And what you'll find, most people cannot afford, so they were left, unattended.
The eyes are our windows to the world, and not being able to see or see clearly brings great discomfort as it impedes our ability to carry out basic daily activities. Faustina Bennett, who had this uneasy experience, told Ignite News that following her treatment, the transformation was almost instant.
Well, it's only because I can, see clearly everything, and got to have my daughter to, solve me home and so. And then I get sick, and she bring me out, and the doctor sent me out down. That's why I'm here. But I feel much better now because, when I reach here, because I didn't lose my sense. I just come here and then they look after my eyes, and the next day I can see, I can see clearly, and everything was okay.
And for 65-year-old Rita Joseph, the surgery gave her back her independence.
My eyes been already gone bad. Now I could see back again. I used to see with the other eye, so nobody don't have to help me, but the other eye, the already blind, the one I do surgery.
The Port Mourant Ophthalmology Hospital has become a regional hub for eye care in Guyana, offering free surgeries and eye screenings. With nearly 4,000 people regaining sight in just over 4 years, the facility stands as a beacon of hope for those who once faced a lifetime of blindness. Dr. Kiradar credited the hospital's achievements to both its medical staff and the government's commitment to continuously improve access to health care. When we come back, a Father's Day dispute in Berbice turns tragic a month later, and Ghana's own Ramiz Mohammed sets the fastest time at a major racing event in Trinidad. Stay tuned.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
You're watching Ignite News on 6 at 6. Thanks for staying with us. Return to the Asian County where a dispute between neighbors turned deadly on Monday. Police in Berbice are investigating the alleged murder of 38-year-old Gavin Daniels, known as Talk to Me, a Guyanese Amerindian laborer of Molson Creek, who was found motionless with multiple wounds about his body on Monday night. The incident occurred around 8 p.m. at Jackson Creek Quarantine, Berbice. Daniels was rushed to the Skeldon Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival by a doctor on duty. The suspect, 23-year-old fisherman Muhammad Fazar Ali, called Rana, also of Jackson Creek, is in police custody and assisting with investigations. Nafisa Hussein, a nearby resident, shared with Ignite News that she was home in bed when the confrontation unfolded at her neighbor's house.
Me na come out, me like left in a shock, and me call his mother, me tell his mother that I call at the station and make a report and see if this patrol van could come for them by this fight there. And by the time me put on me clothes and open me door up and so and put on light for come up, me auntie, that was my uncle wife, she appeared on car. And while walking out, we see the two of them like they fight from over the house, the end house there, fight from there and they come and end up till down here. And when them two scramble, by the time the car stop, they lose off, they want run get away. And after they want run get away, that one left on the ground there. And I call the police and make like over 1 hour, I call the police jeep. That's how come see two men they fight on the road and nobody now arrive, When the car do stop, like me see she come, the car I be walking come up. When I be walking come here, I be see that I left motionless on the ground.
Preliminary information suggested the two men had an early dispute during Father's Day celebrations, which may have contributed to the fatal encounter. Residents alleged Daniels, upon learning the suspect had returned from sea, took a bicycle, went to Ali's residence, and reportedly kicked down his door before the physical confrontation began. Investigators have not yet confirmed the type of weapon or weapons used in the altercation. In sports, Ramiz Mohammed's J Stang made a big splash at round 3 of the World Field Championship final in Trinidad. The Ford Mustang, powered by Toyota JC engine and sponsored by BM Soat and Renegade Race Fuel, clocked a blazing 8.32 seconds on the quarter-mile strip. It was the fastest car of the day, outpaced only by a superbike. Mark Ramatar's Suzuki Hayabusa posted a slightly quicker time of 8.216 seconds. Speaking to the media, Mohammed said the result was a proud moment after the car's tough recovery from an incident in Guyana. He said the hard work had paid off and thanked organizers for a top-tier event in Trinidad. And there's more to come. Mohammed confirmed the J Stang will be on full display at the upcoming international event in Guyana. He says his team, including Wigman and crew, is ready to bring the heat back home. England captain Ben Stokes will miss the 5th and final test against India, starting tomorrow at the Oval. Stokes injured his shoulder during the 4th test at Old Trafford, and with just a 4-day break between matches, he and the medical team decided not to risk further damage. He's expected to be out for 6 to 7 weeks, but says the injury won't affect his plans for the winter's Ashes series. In a statement, Stokes said the risk of aggravation outweighed any short-term gain, and that he won't ask any of his players to push through an injury like this. Vice-captain Ollie Pope will lead the team in his absence, with Jacob Bettel slotting in at number 6. There are changes to the bowling attack as well. Jeffrey Archer, Bryden Cars, and Liam Danson are all out, replaced by Gus Atkinson, Josh Tong, and Jamie Overton. Chris Wooks keeps his place, having played every match in the series. The BBC report that Stokes looked visibly uncomfortable with his shoulder during day 5 of the last test. Still, he says he's confident in how his workload was handled throughout the series. Still ahead, PricewaterhouseCoopers leads a major study on CARICOM Regional Stock Exchange. The US imposes a 25% tariff on imports from India, and a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake rocks Russia. Welcome back. Efforts to establish a regional stock exchange are underway. The world-renowned accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, better known as PwC, has been chosen to lead a feasibility study for Caribbean Regional Stock Exchange. The move comes after CARICOM heads of government endorsed the idea at the 48th meeting in February. According to the Caribbean Private Sector Organization, the firm was selected after a rigorous and transparent process based on its global expertise in finance and regulation. The study will be done in 2 phases. The first phase will determine whether a regional stock exchange is even possible. The second will recommend the best model to suit CARICOM's needs. The goal is to create a secure, efficient system for trading securities across the region, linking exchanges, regulators, broker-dealers, and issuers. PwC is expected to bring international best practices to the table, while working closely with local stakeholders. The project is seen as key to boosting regional investment, expanding access to capital, and strengthening economic integration across CARICOM. According to the private sector organization, it could lower financing costs, reduce risk, and create more opportunities for businesses and individuals alike. In international news, the U.S. is hitting India with a 25% tariff on all imported goods starting August 1st. President Donald Trump made an announcement today, accusing India of maintaining extremely high tariffs and harsh non-tariff trade barriers while doing too little business with the U.S. He also pointed to India's continued purchases of Russian arms and oil, saying they undermine global efforts to pressure Russia over the war in Ukraine. The move is expected to hit Indian exporters hard, especially in textiles, footwear, and furniture, sectors now at a price disadvantage against competitors from China and Vietnam. The White House says the tariff is aimed at reducing the $45.7 billion U.S. trade deficit with India and speeding up stalled trade talks. India says it's reviewing the announcement and remains committed to a fair and balanced trade agreement, but insists it must protect its farmers and small businesses. Finally, a massive magnitude 8.8 earthquake struck off Russia's Kamchatka coast Wednesday, triggering tsunami warnings across the Pacific, from Japan and Hawaii to French Polynesia and Chile. According to Reuters, the shallow quake, the strongest in Kamchatka since 1952, damaged buildings and injured several people. Tsunami waves up to 5 meters were reported in Russia's Kuril Islands, flooding a port and sweeping away boats. In Japan and Hawaii, waves reached up to 1.7 meters, prompting evacuations, including near the Fukushima nuclear plant. Warnings have since been downgraded in most areas, but French Polynesia remains on alert for waves up to 8 feet. Hours after the quake, Kamchatka's Kluchevskoye volcano erupted, spewing lava and explosions into the night sky. Experts say the quake hit along a megathrust fault, where the Pacific plate dives beneath the North American plate, making this region especially prone to quakes and eruptions. Incredibly, in Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, surgery continued mid-quake, with doctors bracing their patient and tools as the ground shook. Authorities warn that aftershocks are likely in the coming days. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nekram. See you tomorrow for more Ignite News.